The Cardiac Bears did it again, pulling off their 7th fourth quarter comeback of the season with a stunning 31-27 win over their division rival Green Bay Packers in what can only be described as a thriller in the wild card round at Soldier Field. In just his first season as head coach, Ben Johnson has completely transformed the culture in Chicago, and this team is fully bought into his never quit mentality. After falling behind by 18 points, the Bears offense exploded for 25 fourth quarter points, converting multiple clutch third and fourth downs, while Caleb Williams delivered big time throws in the biggest moments. In this film breakdown, we're diving into exactly how this Bears offense flipped the script late and punched their ticket to the divisional round. If you enjoy detailed film breakdowns like this, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be dropping new playoff breakdowns throughout the entire postseason. Now, let's roll the tape. First play I want to walk through here is one that I want you all to keep in the back of your mind as we get to the very end of the game. You'll see this type of formation in play again. The Bears are coming out 3-by-1 set. You have a bunch to the bottom of the screen. Mind you, this is 3rd and 8. I really don't understand what the Packers are doing here. And again, they're giving this really hard, pressure look here at the line of scrimmage, but you've got 2 over 3, from the Packers' perspective. You're asking a lot of one of these two edge players to drop into coverage to get out to this bunch with speedy receivers in the bunch like this. This ends up being a screenplay, so you're going to see here on the snap of the ball, you see this is Luther Burden who runs this bubble screen. Trayvon Diggs, who newly signed Packer, is dropping out. So it's basically a 2-on-1 from a blocking perspective. Again, you have this backer trying to drop out into space to try to cover this. That's a really, really tough ask. Burden, super dynamic after the, with the catch. I think that's DJ Moore who throws an absolutely beautiful block here on Trayvon Diggs. Runs right through him. Big time block, big time conversion there on 3rd and 8. And again, keep that in the back of your mind from when we get into that second half here with Chicago. Later on in the first quarter here, this is the type of development that I think Caleb Williams is only going to continue to get better at, but as a young quarterback, it's just not fully there yet. From a route perspective here, you're going to be getting 2 deep out routes from the outside receivers. These go all the way into the end zone, and then get 2 chip and releases here from kind of these snub tight end tights here. And this is actually DJ Moore in the backfield who gets out on kind of like a swing route as the check down option here. Now, Packers are in what looks like some type of man match, maybe cover 4, could just be man match, quarters almost looking coverage. So they've got good outside leverage deep here. So I'm going to pause it here as both routes are breaking to the outside. This guy has outside leverage. He's underneath the route. This guy has outside leverage. He's outside of the route. Both of the checkdowns here are pretty well sat on those chip and releases. Where I think the ball should go, and this is what those really older veterans do, especially how Aaron Rodgers is playing right now. As soon as he realizes those down the field options aren't there, I would get the ball out in space to DJ Moore. 1st and 10. Worst thing that happens is probably a no gain, but he's so dynamic after the catch. Just get the ball to someone as dynamic as that in space. Let him go work. Instead, Caleb, tries to force it downfield, puts a lot of air on it, tries to give Odunze a chance, which he almost does, which is crazy considering, again, the leverage on that throw. But, again, ideally, I think this ball just should go DJ Moore. You think if he comes off of it right now and gets it out to him right here, he's got a lot of green grass to work with 14 who could go and block for him as well. So, again, just an area of Caleb's game that's going to have to continue to get better. And it did get better this year compared to last year with Ben, but really getting through those progressions and playing in structure and getting to that check down is something that he'll just have to get better at. Like I mentioned earlier, the Packers did a great job in run defense in this game. It's 3rd and 6 on this play. Ben Johnson is sneaking 4 down territory, so that's why you're getting the run call here. But this is a very heavy box here by Green Bay. I mean, you've got an 8-person box. Again, trying to match up against this heavy personnel here, double tight ends from Chicago. They're running outside zone to the left here, or the left side of your screen, the right side of the formation. So you're going to get, these types of consistent zone blocking, movement. This play's blown up by 56 Edgerrin Cooper, who does a great job at the point of attack on contact. So you're going to see here, as he comes down, he's going to show like he's going to engage with this double team here. So this O-lineman is coming off to try to block him. He's going to show, and then he dips underneath and around, and that allows him to beat the tackle here in this instance, gets around and ends up holding this play to just one game, setting up 4th and long for the Chicago Bears. So again, you see him dip underneath 73. He's right into the backfield. You see the cutback lane kind of starting to open up, and that's where Monangai is trying to press this, but he's not able to get away from Edgerrin Cooper, who leaps right on top of him, bottles the play up. So again, you have to tip your cap to the Packers. They came in with the mentality of not allowing the Bears to run all over them, and they did a pretty good job of that in this one. Next play here, and this is one that Caleb is going to want back. It's his first interception of the game. There's some miscommunication here between him and Burden. Now, again, you see this one high look pre-snap. You know, they've done a lot of pre-snap motion going back and forth across the line of scrimmage. You had some movement across the board. It's not clear to tell what type of coverage Green Bay is in. They're going to start to tip their hand here right before the snap. So you're going to see this corner who, starts out a little bit closer press up to the receiver, starts to backpedal here before the snap. You see this safety who was more central is now pushing across. So this is rotating into cover 2. So you're getting this safety playing this deep half, this corner dropping to play this deep half, and then you're going to have a flat defender and then, other, typical cover 2 drops from there. So what Luther Burden does on this, once he sees this corner rotating to the deep half, he has his back turned to him. He's going to run past this flat defender, and he throws his hand up. He's calling for the ball right here. He sees this gap in the space that he has to run into. Caleb sees it. He's already throwing the ball, except he throws it more inside, allows that corner who's wheeled around on it thinking that this ball is going somewhere down the field to Luther Burden on a deep shot, actually kind of falls right into his lap and is able to get an interception here. So missed opportunity there for the Bears. Again, some type of miscommunication, not exactly sure what Caleb or Burden were supposed to run, not sure what he thought was going to potentially convert against a given coverage. Maybe he thought it might have had to break inside, not in their offensive realm. I'm not going to try to speculate. Nonetheless, one that Caleb is absolutely going to want back, and a missed opportunity there for Chicago in the first half. You're going to have to get familiar with the name Colston Loveland, not just for the sake of this video, but all NFL fans. I think this is going to be a dangerous pairing with Caleb and Colston Loveland for years to come. I think it is going to be one of the better quarterback tight end pairings. You're going to see on this one, they're running a great play to high-low these second-level defenders in this cover 2. So you can already see, again, these two safeties are bailing to their deep half. You're going to get a in-breaking route here underneath, and then Colston Loveland is running a deeper post over the top of it, which is where the ball goes. And Caleb throws this with great anticipation. So you're going to see, I'm going to pause it right here. He's already padding to throw this to Colston Loveland, who, just put his foot in the ground and is not even entered that window yet. But he rips this one right over the second level of that coverage. Great touch, but with enough zip to get there before the safety is able to get on it. Big grab by Colston Loveland, survives the hit and still fighting for extra yards. He ended up with a massive day in this one, and he started to get going late in the second quarter, but then really came on in the second half. Again, this is a dangerous duo to watch out for in the future. Last chance in the first half for the Bears to cut into this 18-point deficit. Caleb is going to look to hit Colston Loveland on this in-breaking route. So he's going to run this in right behind Quay Walker here, and he does get behind him and around him, and the ball is just too high and outside of his frame for Loveland to be able to grab. You can see he's reaching for it, and it's there. He takes a shot most likely from McKinney, who's coming down on it, but this is definitely a first down. You can see he's well above the sticks. It's a very convertible route for Caleb to hit, but sometimes, again, like I mentioned earlier, the easy throws are just, he makes them more difficult. It seems like it's easier for him sometimes to throw 40 yards fading away off his back foot than it is for him to complete some of these more simple routes. So that consistency is something he'll have to continue to work on. Nonetheless, the Bears are going into the second half down 18, and we're going to see exactly how they engineered that massive comeback. First, third down of the second half for Chicago, and it is a beautifully called play by Ben Johnson against this fire zone blitz from Green Bay. So you're getting a very deep flood concept. You can see this safety is actually blitzing from depth. It's a very far amount of ground for him to cover. Nonetheless, this safety is going to bail out to go play this deep half. This safety attaches this way to go to this deep half. Turns into a too high look, and they are going to just overload this top side of the field. So you're going to have a very deep out route, a deep, flag or corner route, and it's typically kind of an in, but this also kind of trails to the outside. But you've got, 1, 2, 3 levels to work with for these two defenders on this side of the field. You kind of just pick whichever one to make them wrong. And who else but Colston Loveland? So again, you're going to see, if I pause it here, you have those 3 levels that they're working with. So you have that shallower out route, that deeper corner or flag route, and then a really deep corner route here. Sometimes it's just a go, but he's kind of bending it to the outside. Nonetheless, you see where the ball ends up going is to Colston Loveland on that deep flag route because of the space that these 2 other routes are occupying for these defenders. Ball is thrown well over the flat defender's head right into Colston Loveland's hands. A big 29-yard pickup on the first third down in the second half for Colston Loveland. The Bears go no huddle, and they're going to run again that flood concept. So you're getting, deep outside, vertical route here. Colston Loveland, which is where the ball ends up going on that, flag route. And then you've got something, out into the flat down here to kind of hold. The Packers are in what looks like quarters coverage here. So I'm going to pause it at the top of these routes. So right here, this outside corner has to carry this vertical. So you see the space that's already going to open up here as a result of this on this corner route. This corner who is going to try to attempt to break on it, there's just so much for him to have to cover in terms of space and some, bodies that he'd have to get through as well. Caleb on time with the throw. You can see he's trying to break on it as he sees it. But Colston Loveland has all of the leverage and space. Big time 22-yard pickup, puts it right up on his face mask, and they are deep into Packers territory. They were really loving this flood concept, especially once him and Colston Loveland started getting going. They were having a great connection on this play, especially in the second half. 2 plays later, you're getting another Colston Loveland grab on a corner route. At this point, it feels like the video could be all about his performance in this one. He's going to be matched up one-on-one with Quay Walker, and the hesitation that the play action gives him, you can see, off of the play fake, he gets really flat-footed here as Colston Loveland is running right at him, steps on his toes and gets that outside leverage. You can see hard foot plant in the ground, get to that corner out. Caleb already throwing the ball. Great timing there. Puts it right in the bucket. Another big 20-plus yard pickup for Colston Loveland here in the fourth quarter. Again, I've said it a few times, wasn't the greatest run day for the Chicago Bears, but down in the short red zone, you've got to be able to run the football. Look at Darnell Wright on this play. You're going to get a double team here between 73 and 58. He does a great job of engaging and really, it's a technique that we used to do when I was playing in college, where you really throw a shot at the hip of the defensive end here in this instance and throw him further to help your guard fully take over that block while you then climb to the second level. And look at the space that they're able to create. So again, you got that shove. Look at how far over he pushed this defensive end, helps the guard take over. We got Colston Loveland here on that split flow block to get that backside edge. Darnell Wright now climbs up to the second level. You see that cutback lane is forming for DeAndre Swift. Does a great job putting his foot in the ground. Darnell Wright is pushing this guy. I mean, he's outside the hashes. On the left hash, again, Darnell Wright started lined up over here. So the displacement, the movement, the physicality, it all matters a ton. Gives the Bears a rushing touchdown and gives them some life. And the broadcast, you could hear Soldier Field come to life with this touchdown, cuts it to a 1-score game. This play here in the fourth quarter is one of Caleb's more impressive throws on the day in this one. So you're going to see the Packers are going to run a twist here. So you're going to get this tackle who ends up engaging outside. Number 90 loops on the inside, and that creates a lot of pressure in Caleb's face here. But also with a lot of these stunts and twists, it gets hard to keep that outside contained. So while they are generating pressure here, Caleb senses this, is able to roll to the outside because there's no easy contain here. So you're going to see he skirts over to the outside. He's already looking to throw on the run. If I paused it here, you would imagine this pass is probably going here just with the ease of access, but he actually is going further down the field to Rome Odunze, and he puts it low here so that Rome can get down and secure the catch without getting hit by either of these defenders. I mean, it's a really nicely thrown ball, protects his receiver as well, gets the first down, 17-yard hook up there for Odunze. Again, on the run, Caleb Williams is without a doubt one of the best throwers of the football, out of structure, on the run, off his back foot, whatever you want to call it. He has a special arm. These are the most critical plays of the game. It is 3rd and 3. You're down 2 possessions with under 6 minutes left in the game. It feels like if you aren't able to score on this drive, that might be it for your season. And Caleb is going to want this one back. He looks to get to Zaccheaus here over the middle, who's going to be running this in-breaking route. But you can already see how open DJ Moore is. And again, this is 3rd and 3. A pass. This is an easy first down pickup if this ball goes to DJ Moore. Now, I don't hate the decision here as Zaccheaus comes across. Again, you can kind of see this window opening up, and Caleb fires it in there. It's behind Zaccheaus, though. Nearly intercepted. Lucky that it isn't, and it sets up a 4th and 3, which after a false start becomes 4th and 8 with the season on the line for Chicago. So with 4th and 8 in front of all of the Chicago Bears fans in Soldier Field with the season on the line, Caleb Williams throws one of the best passes of this NFL season. That is not an exaggeration. I want to walk through the protection really quickly because it's important, and it ends up leading into why this becomes such a difficult throw for Caleb to make. So you see here they have 5 lined up at the line of scrimmage for Green Bay. Now on the snap of the ball, number 90 takes a step forward and drops out into coverage. And look at what this guard does. He's initially planning to block 90. You're tall as an offensive lineman. If your guy drops, you want to look for work. So he knows he still has that inside rusher here. So he looks to just kind of help out on the center. So you see he leans his body in. Now 58 is looping around at that same time that he's kind of committed to helping double team with the center there. That means that tight loop, he tries to pull off of it, but he's already kind of committed so hard that now 58 is about to have a free rush here on Caleb, which he does. Caleb sees it, gets his eyes down, and is able to kind of scurry this way out of the pocket. All the while, Rome Odunze is running across a route deep over here. You see Colston Loveland is got the mailbox up, wants the ball. He's wide open. There's no one on him. But again, with this pressure in his face, Caleb essentially has to cut out this entire side of the field. He's not going to be able to throw there. So with everything on the line, with a defender grabbing at his ankles, not only is he able to get this ball out to Rome Odunze, he puts so much air on it that he helps to lead him into the open space up the field. It's just an unbelievable throw. I cannot stress enough how ridiculous it is with pressure in your face to scurry outside of the pocket like that with a guy on your heels while getting tackled, make a throw essentially mid-air, pure arm talent, and to have the touch again to not throw it down here where he's kind of that route was tracking towards, but to push him up the field this way. Unbelievable play on 4th and 8. And I think it is the defining moment of the game and honestly probably of the season for the Bears. The Bears are able to pay off that effort and finish the drive with a touchdown. It looks like the Packers are in really traditional, kind of cover 2 here. So you get the 2 deep half safeties with these flat defenders and these 3 kind of patrolling the middle of the field here. And you get Zaccheaus on this, kind of drag route in front of Quay Walker. Anytime you can get a wide receiver on a linebacker, you're going to take that. You see he crosses his face, underneath. Caleb recognizes he's about to rip this over the middle, which he does. Quay Walker just too slow to react to it. Big touchdown for the Bears after a massive conversion. And it feels like all the momentum has shifted entirely from the Green Bay sideline to the Bears in this one. Now to the final two offensive plays of the game for the Bears, what ended up being this game-winning drive for Chicago. And I love it because it showcases clearly that Ben or other coaches on that sideline are getting in Caleb's ear and just continuing to tweak and refine his game. These short, out routes, as I've shown a couple of times here, have been really wide open all game for Chicago, and you're going to see here on the snap of the ball, he gets that. Look at how quick the decision is being made. Snap just happened. Caleb is already throwing it to DeAndre Swift here because he sees this defender has so much ground to cover, and 55 has to kind of trail with this inside receiver to try to pass this off to the other zones. So he's got easy access to the flat here for DeAndre Swift. It's third and short. You're just trying to pick up a couple yards here. You get it out to a dynamic guy in space. Huge run after the catch, get way down into Green Bay territory, comfortable field goal range. That's not what the Bears want. That's not what Ben Johnson wants. They're greedy. They want to go for the win. So this is it, the play that ended up winning the game for the Chicago Bears. And if you remember the very first play I walked through here, you had bunch to this side of the screen, and they ran a wide receiver screen to who else? Luther Burden. On that time, they had the Packers, had 2 over 3. This time you see they have 3 defenders over this bunch. And it is just a beautiful, beautiful play call by Ben Johnson. This is why I think he's one of the best play designers in the NFL. You're going to see DJ Moore looks like he's selling block. Colston Loveland looks like he's selling block for the screen. Kind of slight engages here and is just swiping by. Luther Burden puts that foot in the ground like he's coming back to run a little screen in the bunch here. That pulls both of these defenders down. You've got a middle field safety, so you've got no help over the top here for the Packers. And DJ Moore runs a go ball behind all of them. It's too late for this DB. You see Caleb is already throwing the ball, and he puts it right on DJ Moore's helmet, gets the catch over the shoulder, and that ends up winning the game for the Chicago Bears. They complete an 18-point comeback, a 25-point fourth quarter, an unbelievable effort. Super fun to watch this one. You could tell through the broadcast, like the energy in Soldier Field really came through. It was an absolutely electric weekend of football, both in college and in the NFL. Really excited to keep pushing out these film breakdowns for you all this entire postseason. If you enjoyed this content, again, I would really appreciate it if you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another upload, and drop a comment. Let me know what you thought about this one or any of the other games in Wild Card Weekend. As always, I appreciate you, and I'm out.